for fit. There we go. It's on the record. Okay. So, now that that's been taken care of, let's go ahead and get the show on the road here. So last time, before JG showed up, we were going to let some of these other teams duke it out again. And I think we're going to do that now that we're here to give Fatal Alex and the Toasters a better chance at winning. And I suppose putting the fatalities against the Toasters is probably the safest way. Oh, no, you know what? Like, frick. Yeah, that's probably the best way. Give them a chance to actually get some money back. They're alternating back and forth based on how deadly the threats are. Alright, let's do this. Toasters. We have here Arthresh. We have Sandwich. We have Atomic Toast. We have Herb as our owner-operator. These are people who donated. For anyone who wasn't around during the 2018 MS Charity Bike stream, people who donated money got to create robots and have them added into this league under various teams. We actually customized all the logos and everything for them as well. Through ROM hackery, although I replaced one byte that caused the save game not to work anymore, so thank goodness we're playing this in emulator. But whoops. If you so desire, this charity stream will be happening again this year in the summertime. However, donations are already open below in the MS. If you look at the panel for the MS Society of Canada below me here, if you click on that picture or press the donation button, it will bring you to my personal page where you can donate. No idea what the rewards are this year. I normally work those out about 2 weeks before the stream, if that. So you'd be, you know, supporting a good cause at a time when they're not getting a lot of support because most people can't be doing their fundraising right now, their normal fundraising efforts. However, you've got several months to take your time and do those donations. And I won't notice them until after stream. But you will be getting shoutouts as soon as I do notice them because you would be an awesome person. Anyways, those are the people on the Toasters. On the fatalities, well, here we have Fatal Alex, the Flybot. He's also the owner. And we have Toll Panzer, who I've finally gotten around to never saying Troll Panzer when I see his name. Those are the teams. Let's play ball. We'll let the AI duke it out here. Hank kills up first. And we'll see what sort of action we get. It might be a quick game, it might not be. This is one of the slowest ways to play this game. Is to let the AI try to do stuff because they'll actually duke it out pretty well. However, we have 3 up, 3 down in the first inning here. And we'll see how long that keeps going. The Toasters scoreless in their first round. Ooh, Bobo's going to be a lot more active lately, hopefully. I hope so. We all miss our Bobo action. Oh, you mean more active in chat, perhaps? Well, either way, we all miss our Bobo action. Bobo action and Robo action all in one night. Oh, a home run. Look at that. We'll let this play out. Don't worry. You won't be seeing this too much. I only let them get 1 home run animation per round here. After people like the JG Mysteries, who Welcome to the stream, GG. We'll go ahead and get things like, 40. Oh, wow. Those guys really weren't paying much attention to how that fight worked. I've got a laser gun. I'm going to check you to death. They were too damn good. Getting tens of home runs in an inning. Slowing down the stream. Barely got that to the ground in front of him, so just counts as a strike. But then he gets striked out. It looks like there's going to be another quick inning for the Toasters. At least they're getting a fight out of it here. Come on, Sandwich, show us some styles. Yeah, he's got the spin to win going. Your battle gimmick means nothing. And Brown makes the count for nothing. Stanley's up. Stanley's out. Caught it with his foot, it seemed like, in that situation. Oh, safe on base. Are we going to see some more scores here? Looks like this is going to be a good chance for the Fatalities to earn some money to have some much-needed upgrades. And it looks like we don't have too many people that are preparing to blow up. If they keep hitting it to this M cycle here, they're going to have plenty of time to get people home. Alex, good eye, waiting for a good pitch here to try to hit a home run. Swings right through that one. Oh, with this pop-up, it could be easily a triple play if they catch it. He does not. They go for home. Catches him at the base. Who's going to win this fight? It's battle gimmicks versus checks. And if you don't catch them in the stun lock, you're not making it home. So they limit the damage to 1. But it's going towards... Oh, the flybot. He just wasn't paying attention. We got right here with the battle gimmick. Looking to make some rounds on the bases. Sends the runner home. And they're not in scoring position again, but they've already done pretty good this round. Off the wall, he's running for home. He's gonna make it. The Toasters are being toasted this time. Oh, hey! I love the company, Bobo, if you want to hop onto Discord. Especially since I'm on monitor duty, and there's a small chance I might have to run away for 5 minutes. Just let me know when you're back in a position to do such things. Where's my... Oh, I put my beverage in the wrong spot here. That might be a home run. No, caught out at the wall, and it turns a home run into a double play. It happened off screen, so I can only assume it was a pretty epic jump. The first time she wakes up, it's often just a, I want some water. Give me a little snuggle. Okay, I'm good to go back to bed. The second time she wakes up, that's when she decides that all of the things need to happen, or she won't go back to sleep. Okay, Warren's looking to take advantage of this situation. I thought we were going to have a quick first game, but that left fielder is really making sure that we don't. Oh man, double play now. So I don't know if that's the third baseman or the left fielder, because they seem to be wheeling in. Now he could have easily ended the inning here, but... Oh, Sandwich is making sure that the inning is over with a well-timed spin to win M cycle. Spin cycle? So they're slowly improving here. If they can keep this trend going the opposite direction so that the fatalities start getting negative scores, then things could be turning around for the Toasters. Fielders had separation anxiety with the inning. We don't want to let it go. Oh, so much for that. Triple play, and the dreams are dashed in the 4th inning. We'll see if they can bring it back around in the 5th inning. What's Jones going to do here? He's in the fast lane. He's going for first. He's going for second. He's safe. Wright made the wrong move there, and there's a double play. They're out. Tolpanzer with a deep hit to left field. And for the first time in his life, the left fielder was in the right place at the right time. Arnold is going to have to fight for this base, but if he gets the rotations going at the right time, yep. Until an AI person gets blown up, they really don't use their brains too much for these battles. Hey, Arnold. And another double play ends the inning. So things are speeding up here. Oh, no, that doesn't end the inning. That's just the first. Spoke way too soon. Yeah, no, there will be the charity stream. I am registered. They actually called up a bunch of people to talk to them about it. And, I mean, so far the plan is to wait and see what's going on. With the way things are going, I suspect that it will... Oh, too bad. They almost got someone home. The plan is to wait and see. I'd imagine it really depends what happens, because biking is actually worse for spreading things social distance-wise. You'd have to have people more than 2 meters or 6 feet apart. Not that 2 meters is 6 feet exactly. Like... It's really not. But that's what they tell you in all of the literature. 2 meters or 6 feet. They just like round numbers. But like with biking, apparently you have to spread things out even more. So I mean, the problem is that that's like saying, say it's close enough that 2 feet is, or 2 meters is 6 feet. That's like saying, hey, if you get 6 Subway subs and line them up, it's going to be 6 feet. It's not the same. By the time that's all over with, you're missing half a sub. Yeah. So I don't know what they might do. I mean, I could see them maybe limiting, like right now, if you want to join in the bike ride, you have to raise over like $300 or something. It's not, and it's Canadian money, so it's not an incredibly large amount that you need to raise. So a lot of people go, but I could see them upping that to a certain level just to at least have some, you know, newsworthy stuff to put out. Keep 2 party subs away from each other. It's too bad that thing's not here. He'd know about party subs. But anyways, but the stream will still be on for sure. The link in my description down below right now actually is live for this year's setup. They called and they made sure everybody was cool. And actually, it was nice because when they checked in, they weren't just like checking in to make sure everyone was still fundraising. They were making sure that everybody was doing okay and everything too. So, yeah. Yeah, the bike part kind of goes a little unnoticed in terms of the online community. There's a few tweets from me about how sweaty I am and how tired my legs are. And some finish line pictures, but... Oh, Jones managed to turn that around. Brown was getting a good butt bounce for a while there. Oh, the new RTK game is not good, eh? Hey, a home run! Do you know what? Maybe they did they put YouTube in charge of designing the new interface? Is that probably what has caused these issues? Cell phone friendly, yeah, mobile. Yeah, I could see them doing that. Then they don't have to port it so much. Hey, the hero of the game. Well, not the hero of this inning. He got it over with before 3 more runs went in. So the Toasters started their claw back, but then they let the runs go again right away. So who knows if they'll manage to turn it around now. We all had hope. Then they dashed them on the rocks. And with the way this inning's going, I don't think we're going to see more points. Jeez, the second baseman there just couldn't leave the first baseman to catch it. QuickTime events. See, but they could have QuickTime events when there's like duels and stuff, couldn't they? You know, you pick the proper response, and then after the proper response, you have to mash the X button, but then change the Y button to get maximum damage. And I am talking about playing on PC. You have to do it on the keyboard. So Arthresh once again has his laser gun here, and instead he tries to get away with doing these haze, and it costs him the fight. Wow, and even with the double throw, they managed to get it a second in time. Fatal Alex is up, and he is out. So they minimize the damage this time, but they're running out of chances. It's already 10-1, so the fatalities get no more home run animations. And these guys just keep it in the infield. Perhaps they haven't been upgrading the shoulders of their robots here. Now, every one of these AI teams has played at least 4 or 5 games. They should have the cash for getting some good upgrades, but this league mode really could use a mercy roll. And if it had a mercy roll, there would be more speedrun categories because people would play the full game and probably play the league version for speedruns. Although I'm tempted to try to get them to add that, but only with 5 games per team, perhaps less. Perhaps 1 game per team. Or a series of 3? That might make sense. Single segment would be pretty long, though. That's going to be a home run. And these dudes don't get any more home run animations. You know, there comes a point when the M cycle should just let the ball bounce a little bit more so that the runner will go to the next base and they can force a fight. How that wasn't caught before the... Oh, you don't often see the butt bounce take somebody out before they manage to get their special attacks off, too. And you know what? So many of the NES games do have mercy rules, but there's a lot that don't. Not quite sure why. And once again, Arthresh, ignoring that laser gun, doesn't work out for him. Well, that inning is over, and that ends the game. So our first one's done here. Let's go ahead and add this to our score scroll. This time there's no... No forfeit this time. Alright, we got... Well. Excuse me, and I'm sorry I didn't get far enough away from the mic for that one. Very rude. I am a rude boy. 11. Not a ridiculous game, and didn't take too long when we're at about 20 minutes. So do the math on that. That's times that by how many games you think there'd be in the speedrun, and then Times it by 2 for all the JG Mystery style games where there's 53 points. And that'll give you an idea what the speedrun time would be about. 3 days? Something like that? I don't know. Let's go ahead and throw down a temporary save here just so we don't accidentally backroll this when I load the wrong disk, as I'm so likely to do. Maximal Damage, welcome to the stream. Let's go ahead and get the next game going here. Alright, that's at 6. Diamond cutters? I mean, the diamond cutters are probably going to stomp them. I just changed my window size slightly by mistake. How do I fix this? I don't know. View. Screen size times 2. Times 1. There. It is fixed. Sorry about that. When I move things around to it, it changes the stuff. So, let's go ahead. The fatality is just 1, right? I don't even remember what just happened. Look at the scores here. Fatality is just 1 after a loss. We'll let the fatalities and the unstoppables duke it out. So the unstoppables are up. This is Lethal's team. Landry is the owner. You can see that we have a few people on this team. We've got Hazel. We've got Lethal. We've got Pudro. We have Lats Totsees. We have Grimmeth, Agent Smith, who's actually a robot. Hazel is a cat. We have the fatalities, who of course are Alex and Tolpanzer, back up again. Looking to keep their streak going, but can they do it? And Grimmeth actually, he deserves to flex a little bit on this team. He's actually one of the heavy hitters for the Unstoppables. But right now, things aren't looking too good for them. Second baseman showing off there, the shortstop, I should say. So we're expecting probably at least 10 hits out of the fatalities in this game. Ooh, that was an interesting play. It almost landed. Alex managed to turn around just in time, though. Got his butt bounces off before the haymakers came out. Grimmeth is out. Impressive that he didn't get caught out by the pitcher there, though. Lethal is apparently scared of Jones's ability. Oh, drops it at the last second. Maybe they're trying to show off with a triple play here, but that could turn out not well. Yep, Lethal just wanted to be the big hero and make the play. So they've managed to keep it all tied up here at nothing. Grimmeth looking for some revenge. So he wasn't... I got confused and I thought he was the one up to bat, and he clearly was not. He was the one at the base. But now he's showing off with his flexing of pectoral shoulder implants. Don't know why they're called shoulders when they clearly replace your pecs, but he's got a home run out of it. No, that's a pretty good hit right down the line. Bounces off the wall. He makes it to second safely. Does he risk third? No. And smart move, too. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they're putting the shoulder muscles in over top... Oh! The M-Cycle's inability to stop on a dime plays out there. Now, Hazel's been hitting pretty well as well. So this might be a good chance. Oh, but a pop-up. It's too late. Luckily, not everyone was caught out. And Lethal's hit, unfortunately, doesn't land before the bot gets under it. But the Unstoppables are now up 1-0. Tulpanzer's up and looking to answer that. And he does! You could tell that was going out of the park this second it hit the bat. Took less than a minute to get 2 out of the park, so I guess the minute it hit the bat wouldn't make much sense. So it's all tied up now. We have a Baker on the field. Oh, some fancy pitch work there from Lethal. Gets it over the plate. One more of those and he'll have struck them out. And there you go, changing it up enough. He gets a strikeout. Lethal is one of the better pitchers in the league here. Second only, perhaps, to Mysterious JG. Oh, that's going to come down, I think. Yep. They get to second base just in time. But Green does not get any moves off. So the runner is safe. Excellent catch there by Lethal. Ends the inning. Green on green action. Boudreaux's up. If that had stayed fair, he might have made it to the base. He tries for that same sort of hit again, and it doesn't work out for him. Agent Smith easily caught out. All these flybots, I'm telling you, if you want to play this game legit and not blowing people up, you want flybots on your team. Green barely gets caught out here. More green on green action. Green with no E does not use his butt stomp, and Green with the E is safe. Blush response, not a replicant. Caught out. The fielding is just too strong. So it really comes to the Unstoppables perhaps getting around to Grimmeth again for the hits to try to get another point. They got to get more people on base if they want to cycle through their roster more quickly. He's soft with no E. What was that? He wanted to make it a good, clean fight, I guess. So he held onto the ball for a second to give the runner a chance to get a few more hit points, but that didn't work out for them. Maybe the AI was trying to figure out which base to throw to. Who knows? Seemed odd that he just held onto the ball, though. Oh, triple play. That ends the inning for the fatalities. Grimmeth is up. A little antsy here, swinging a little too soon. But that one's going deep. I don't think it's out of the park, though. However, he's going for third. Can he win it? It's Jones here. He's going to spin to win. Oh, and you could hear Grimmeth trying to get those haze off, but he just got stuck in the corner. He almost made that base. He should have hustled a little harder, and he would have been there. See, I think the fielders they're playing them. They're making sure they try to go for it when they shouldn't. Yes, you're absolutely right. Fair run. They spin to win quite frequently. Oh, and the double play there. Those M-Cycles normally don't catch the pops like that, but this time we just happened to get under it. Now, if we get to the 10th inning and it's still 1-1, we're going to see a long game. Some of these low-scoring games have actually been longer than the high-scoring games, just because of going to like 14th inning or whatnot. But Grimmeth here is looking for some revenge. And he's shown that the haze do work when you don't get caught up in the corner. And he was successfully starting the attack. It just... the sprite couldn't get itself turned around. Ooh. Almost a home run there. Ooh, that would have been a double play, but the first baseman, Grimmeth, threw it to the first baseman, Grimmeth, and he did not catch it. They did not program in running to the bases for the robots in this game when they were working with the AI. You'd think that happened a million times in playtesting, and it probably did, but for whatever reason. That's going to come down. Oh, and he got under it. Keeps things safe. All tied up still. Entering into the top of the fifth. As top of the fifth, as the Irish say to you. Ooh, it almost landed. It's got a lot of balls on this one. Right down the line, it gets caught out. Jameson's. Oh, jeez. So green is up. He's got his E on. He manages to get on base. Oh, pardon me for a second. I was just making sure I had a setting correct there. Well, see, the top of the fifth is just a swig, and then the bottom is the rest. So that's why they're like top of the swig, top of the fifth to you. Oh, I see that. All right, let's press the button that we're all waiting for here. Hello? Someone's got to check their mic settings.
Yeah, no, I probably do need to check my mic settings.
Hey, Bobo, how's it going?
I am as well as anybody is these days, as crazy as it is.
Well, hopefully you're weller than some.
Okay, I suppose that's true. Thanks for putting it all in perspective, buddy.
And Travis Unknown, thanks for the host.
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking, oh man, it's too bad we don't have robot baseball players so we could be watching baseball right now. But here we are watching robots play baseball, so. The thing that confuses me the most about this game, now that I think about it, is if these guys are robots and they're playing baseball, how come they seem to be moving in 8 directions instead of just 4?
I don't know. Sometimes it feels like my fielder's only moving 4 directions.
Well, except, you know, the M cycles, which just love to cut donuts around the ball as it lays static in the field where it landed.
Now, speaking of M cycles, Smith here is taking a pounding, and it looks like he may be blowed up by the end of this game, depending on how things go.
Spoiler alert, I am watching the Twitch stream, which means that I just, as you said, Smith is taking a beating. I just saw the combat begin. Not that combat takes very long in this game, but you know, that's how these things go. Oh, hey, Maxwell Damage. I hope you managed to catch your breath in the end.
Well, we have a home run here.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
So the Fatalities have decided to go on a tear, and they are now up by 4 runs.
Where's their sense of fair play?
Well, they are
Don't
the
they watch
Fatalities.
any of those Foundation for Better Life videos where, like, you know, the one team is really far down, and the coach is just like, hey, let's not make this embarrassing for them or whatever, or they're like, hey, let's put in the player that never gets to play because he's, you know, no good or, you know, as differently able or something like that. Let's do it. Let's give him a big moment or whatever, and then
Or vertically
it's just-
challenged like Rudy.
yeah. Interesting thing. I'm a sucker for that movie, but I remember reading a little bit about it after the fact. And of course, you know, I can't say I've never met the guy, but apparently, by some accounts, Rudy Rudiger, yeah, we went on to be like an airline like management person, like whatever. He went on to work for some airline or something, I think it was. But either way, it just apparently turned out in the long run to be just kind of a dick as a person. But
But he got his.
a
his
very
whole thing there.
inspiring story as a collegiate athlete.
Grimmett had a chance at a run to second there, but unfortunately got butt bounced.
Yeah, well, no, that's more the front. That's more the front junk. I think that was teabagging.
Yeah, perhaps he did play a lot of aerobiz, JG. In his time, he was at the sitting on the bench. He was just like, oh, sorry, that was the Unstoppables. They deserve that home run to stay on screen.
Because Rudy Rudiger was playing football for Notre Dame during a time period where he could get one of those Superboy portable SNES consoles, play Aerobiz.
I was going to
Despite
say
the
it was a
fact that I
Superboy.
believe-
'Cause
Yeah,
I just pulled
This
mine
all-
down from on top of my desk here.
this all despite the fact that I'm pretty sure that the game he was playing against, or the game that, like, the famous Rudy game, they're playing against a team that sported Dan Marino as the starting QB in collegiate ball days, and he is retired from the pros now, but you know why he had to retire, right?
Why?
No, because he held the laces in, and turned out to be a big mistake on the kick.
I don't know anything about football.
Well, for that, all you need to know about is the movie Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
I also don't know anything about that. I've never seen either one.
You've never seen football or the movie Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
I mean, I've seen a football.
They have them in the stores up there.
And I've played a little razzle-dazzle two-hand touch back in my day.
Okay, I don't even know that I've done that, unless, you know, this is a local. That may be some local thing that they do up there.
Oh,
It's,
so the razzle-dazzle rule is we don't know the football. Oh, Ald, thanks for the host. Thanks for the raid.
wow.
Apparently there were still 10 people hanging around your channel even if you didn't raid me, so the raid worked out. The razzle-dazzle rule is pretty much we don't know that much about football, so we're not caring about how passing works. You can pass all you want.
Oh, I see. So, if you had to choose, would you choose Razzle or Dazzle?
Razzle.
Yeah, I was thinking Dazzle. Razzle seems like, yeah, like, it would be interesting to sort of fluster people the way that I
He's
trying to blow
Smith up. Sorry.
Well, no, that's okay. But it turned into like pro wrestling commentary there for a minute. My God, he's an animal. He's just trying to injure him. He's not trying to win this match.
Well, you're going to be excited when you see this. Not only does he try to blow him up, but he makes a comeback and hits a home run. Now he's trying to blow Green up too. Apparently, these guys are just not doing so hot, but they're managing to limp by here, and they might turn it around for him. It turns out they just needed to be under the immediate threat of death to really start performing.
The full force of death. It may just be that this guy really hates people crowding the plate. He's not actually trying to kill any of them. He's just like, get away from there.
But with Grimmeth's home run, it is now it's a real ball game now. Is this gonna make it? No, it didn't. But they did make it to second. So
I like that the robot baseball game wasn't a real baseball game, but it was wishing that it could be.
I think I can. I mean,
What
we're
does
coming
it
down
mean
to the.
to be a real baseball game, Captain? You watched that new miniseries?
No, I haven't.
Well, I best not spoil it, but it involves Picard.
Is that the Picard one?
No, I'm talking about Tiger King.
Okay, yeah. I didn't realize Picard was in the last episode. I'm here to buy 5 tigers. Make it so. Oh man. So we're coming down to the bottom of the 8th here. If the score doesn't change too much, it's going to be a lot of pressure here on the Unstoppables to just get at least one run in the 9th.
I think
and they get the triple play.
Oh, triple play, really?
Yeah. Between
triple play is like.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, triple play is like the thing that happens, like only in the movies. There are 2 plays that like seem to like only happen in the movies, but they happen in the movies all the time. That's triple play or stealing home. But like every time there's like a scene in a movie that is related to baseball, but is not like entirely about baseball or something like that. Oh, dad joke just got redeemed.
Dad joke just got redeemed. We'll see if Data gets this one. All right, I'll let you decide which book you want this out of. I've got 2 books here. One's the very embarrassing book of dad jokes. This one comes.
But it doesn't matter.
Oh,
sorry.
So close. That was so close. Between games here, I'm going to try to set you up with a Discord stream instead to see if it's a little faster. Lower bit rate, but see the plays happen.
Right, I suppose I'm gasping at something that everybody already saw play go.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, he just threw it to nobody. Oh wait, it doesn't matter.
So we got the very embarrassing book of dad jokes. This one's a little more British, so every once in a while there'll be a joke in it that you just don't get. Or you do get because you know a lot about British pop culture.
You could be TP.
And we got world's greatest dad jokes. Now, there's a bit of a caveat on this one. It's 192 more hilarious knee slappers and hokey puns. So that tells me that this is the sequel to World's Greatest Dad Jokes that were the first 192 most hilarious jokes. And these ones are just like, you want the British one? Okay, we'll see. I'll just rifle through the pages here and you say when to stop.
Immortal Knight, gotta love Robo Basketball.
Oh, look, I'm a magician.
There is a Robo Basketball game, right? Is Bill Laimbeer's Combat Basketball a robot basketball game that Bill Laimbeer also happens to be there playing against robots? Or is it a game where it's just like everybody has robot armor?
I think it's just... I think most of these games are just in the future, they're combative.
Yeah. Everybody just gets really angry in the future. And I'm beginning to see that unfold.
What sits around the rubbish tip, singing in a funny voice?
Oh, I don't know, there's what sits around the rubbish bin talking in a funny voice?
Sting of the dump. There's your dad jokes. That's our first ever thing redeemed.
I'll be watching you, Zerf. You keep throwing out ones like that.
Old thinks it's worth it. All right, so real quick, as we...
Oh, I misread it. Immortal Knight. You were saying Basketball, which was that the movie by the South Park guys. Yes, you're right.
I accidentally changed the size of this thing again 2 times. There we go. All right, so real quick, we got to add in the score, which was a lot closer to even. We have the Unstoppables at 6. And I think this shows the whole time, so if the wrong part of the thing is showing, you'll see all my horrible typing skills. Fatalities, who are already in the second team spot here. 7. Man, that was a bit of a nail biter at the end there. I was really... I'm pulling for the Unstoppables every time now because they've had a real unlucky streak where they just barely lose a whole bunch of games. And I want to see them survive because I like them. Not that we destroy all the robots at the end of the season if they've lost. All right, I'm
Yeah,
going to pop
where
open
do I go with
Discord
this?
here and give you a little bit of a screen share. Although I pressed
Just
the
a
camera.
little bit of one.
I pressed camera instead.
Just enough to tide me over.
Just, yeah.
Just a little taste.
And I think if we do the application, you get the sound as well. If I recall correctly, yes, sound is on. Okay, share. Boop. So hopefully this is a little bit faster for you. We'll tell when I press the A button now.
Oh yeah, and I'm hearing
There we
it.
go. Bobo just time warped to catch up with the stream.
Well, it's true. I was still looking at the scoreboard on. Wow, I'm living in the future. This is amazing.
Living in the future.
Oh, let me get out of here. I wanna.
We're ready.
Oh, the one time I actually want to try mod view, it doesn't show me how. There we go.
All right. All right, I'm going to butcher this name, but Matt Tuzgravin. Hi, welcome to the stream. Shaman, welcome to the stream as well. We're going to get right in. Well, first we're going to save a state so we don't accidentally load the wrong disk and ruin everything. So, I mean, since Shaman's here now, we should probably put the diamond cutters in. But Toasters are, they had their chance to recover from their game with the fatalities. And they're ready to try to strike out on their own here. Because they have a bad record of winning games. So, who do we have on the Toasters? The Toasters are Arthresh and Atomic Toast. And who do we have on the Diamond Cutters? The human players that join the Diamond Cutters are J2 John Jeremy, who's great at running the bases, I gotta say, and also not called J2 John Jeremy anymore. But this league is 2 years old. And we have Shaman. Welcome to chat. Welcome to the Baseball Grinder. The Diamond Cutters, for people who haven't seen this, have a very colorful backstory. They used to be diamond miners up on an asteroid, or coal miners, I believe, up on an asteroid, and they struck the motherlode of diamonds, and they've used the money to get themselves retrofitted and ready to play some baseball. And they've been using their money wisely because they've slowly been kind of climbing up and becoming stronger players.
They also made a number of cosmetic improvements to themselves, which has caused some people to call them the Diamond Cuters.
They're so cute.
Because CUTRZ could go either way.
So Arthresh is up right now. He's got his laser gun, and as we've seen earlier in the stream, he's not been making a very strong use of this laser gun. He prefers to check people, and but he's the owner of the team. Wait a minute. No,
Yeah.
he's not. He's the favor of the team. I don't know. For some reason, he's the one that got a laser gun.
He's using the laser gun to good effect, pistol whipping people with it.
Yeah. And unfortunately, a quick double play there ends the inning for them. Unfortunately for the Toasters. Fortunately for the Diamond Cutters. It's been kind of hard to not pick favorites while commentating on these games. But the way it tends to work is whoever's the underdog, and this is the way it works for me with most professional sports, whoever seems to be the underdog in the game is the one I'm rooting for. Everyone loves an underdog, and especially me.
Everyone loves underdogs and you, Zerf.
Oh, we've got a home run.
Home run.
J2 John Jeremy's up. And he's gonna get caught out. If that had landed, he would have made it to the base, but he does round the bases relatively quickly. However, the Diamond Cutters are already up by one, and perhaps they're just not looking to show off. They're trying to save some of their energies for the next time they face the GG Mysteries. Try to become the second team in history to take them down.
I'm gonna stop obsessing over whether I can change your
Stream title.
whether I can change your game title. Because for some reason it's really irking me that it's just retro.
I think you need to go into well. There's a different part of the site I think you need to go in to do it, but we'll put in Cyber Series Base Wars here just for you.
Just for me. This is the reward that I get for showing up. See, that's the lesson to take home here, folks. Half of winning is showing up.
Is that going to make it? I don't think so. Yeah, he hit it a little too far too, because the bots will run right up against the wall if they think it's anywhere close to being a home run. And if you shoot it just a little shy of that, they're too busy trying to back up further to notice that it landed at their feet. Oh, someone had a charge-up attack there. It didn't seem like it landed, but
Hey.
the Turner was taking... Arthresh finally got that gun out. And then, you know what? When he realized he liked using it, he just kept shooting. Oh, he shouldn't have rounded the base there. Yeah, it's very hard to win the fist versus fist fights unless you actually get off one of those rare double combos.
Well, and even if that happens, somebody can come at you with a combo breaker.
It's true. As soon as somebody hits the B button instead of the A button, it's like, oh, you probably shouldn't have just been punching.
Yeah. Man. How much Killer Instinct did you ever play, Zerf?
They had an arcade. They had it in the arcade at the bowling alley that I was in. My parents.
That you frequented.
I frequented it quite. I was in bowling leagues when I was younger. My parents were like, "You need to do a sport," and I was like, "Bowling sounds like the least sporty sport."
I'm following your logic so far.
Yeah, so I chose bowling, and it was interesting because my sister followed my footsteps into the bowling leagues, and then when she got a little older, she decided to do karate and became a black belt. So she made better long life decisions from choosing sports eventually, but she did get a PlayStation out of it. They were getting desperate for kids to join the league, and so they were like, "We've got a PlayStation league. It costs $2 more a week for the year or something like that, but at the end of the season you get a PlayStation."
Like everybody gets one, or
everybody gets a PlayStation because the parents are really just paying for a PlayStation from the extra $2 it costs a week.
See,
it might have been an extra $5 a week, but
okay, a week. Yeah, that's okay. That's still not too bad. I was thinking like if they were doing this, is like honestly, that's a good like. I guess it's not. I guess it probably wouldn't fall afoul of any like gambling rules, but like you put in an extra couple of bucks and then you just make the competition out of it. It's like, all right, the winning team gets PlayStations or whatever.
Oh, it landed.
Wow, that flybot had all the time in the world to catch that fly ball. You would think that the one thing flybots would know
are fly balls
was pop flies, and yet yes, it's balls because they teabag everyone.
How about this fly ball? No, it's interesting because they were in a bad position after that double play, but now they have a runner in scoring position.
It's risky business.
And then it didn't work out for them.
Oh boy.
But yeah, that's how we got our PlayStation, by the way. Was bowling.
That's how you got your PlayStation? I got my PlayStation because a friend of mine was in an argument with his parents and was like, hey, can I stay at your house for a couple of nights? And he came by and he stayed over. I think it was like on the weekend or something like that. But he brought his PlayStation, and when he left to go back home, he just never took it with him. And he never came back for it. And at some point in time, he borrowed my Discman and just never returned it. It's like, well, all right, I'm just gonna hang on to your PlayStation, man.
Fair trade. which turned out in your
I mean,
favor in the long run.
I was gonna say a little more than fair, as it turns out, but yeah, it.
Oh, that bunt might work out. Let's see if Gibson gets hacked here. Oh, he's inside the. He was inside the. Whatever the battle gimmick range.
That was like classic Final Fights tactics.
Just get too close and they can't hit you.
Yeah, or just be just slightly below them on the horizontal plane, where for some reason your moves will hit them, but theirs won't hit you. That's right, JG. A little more than fair and less than kind. JG, you will remember this same. You will remember this same individual as the person that we played. That we had our first great N64 wrestling game experience with. Who kept shouting that Gangrel was about to come down the ramp and interfere in any of these matches.
So I'm going to butcher a name here in chat because I'm going to assume the X's are Z's sounding. Zixputz. You can correct me on the pronunciation, or perhaps you just called Sputs, but we got some letters surrounding the name. This game was pretty awesome as a kid, and it's a very broken game. Once you play it as much as someone who's done several series on it,
well, somebody who for a time held the world's record speed run for it.
Yeah, man, this game, if you're willing to do the combat, you can just I could beat this game in about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. One game, but people have gotten this down to like a minute 30 or minute 40 for playing one round of baseball, where they just kill people in like.
No. They
destroy robots. It's just like the Foot Clan. They're just robots. It doesn't matter that they're being destroyed.
There's a difference. There's a criminal difference between destruction of property and murder.
Yes. So yeah, like there's some would call them cheap moves you can do, and I would call them that, but I'd absolutely love to learn how to do them better. Where you
even cheaper,
you can pretty much
make them in China.
You beat them up a little bit, and then you charge up a check attack, and you can literally take down like all their hit points with one giant check attack. I think that was the second this round. So the Toasters were making a pretty good comeback there, but the Diamond Cutters were just letting them get on the board apparently.
Diamond Cutters are pretty into this.
Baseball fights or hockey fights? I mean, here's...
I'm the weirdo that loves hockey but hates that there are fights in it. It's like, I just want to see him skating around and, like, you know, like, a little bit of checking is okay, but, like, this whole, like, you're trying to take dudes out, forget about it.
Well, it's a good thing... Well, you've been around for a while, though. So you must you must prefer the way the game's been going than what it was, like, 20 years ago.
Well, I mean...
Or 40 years ago.
I'm not a big fan of the way it's going, like, right now.
But, right. They should have some robots out there. Some Zambonis.
Honestly, I've only been following hockey for like maybe the past 10 years.
Okay, so you weren't there for the enforcement years and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with how it went. Sort of like, you know, you can learn up enough oldie schooly information on YouTube, but that follows a pattern of me and sports. Like typically, like I will pick a team that I enjoy based on where I am when I first start following it, and I don't know, started watching American football when we lived about an hour south of Buffalo. Now, that's a hockey town, too. If I had known or been able to go to any games then, I might have been into it then, but that just ended up being something I ended up doing as a grown-ass man, where I could make my own decisions about what sporting events I wanted to go to.
Screw you, Dad. I'm going to watch some hockey. I don't care if you think it's a little too Canucky.
That's right. Actually, my dad was never a huge sports guy. I mean, a little bit. Like, it's funny, like, now I go over to his house and, you know, I bring little Bronco with me and he'll sit Bronco up there and they will watch, they'll watch, like, Champions League rugby or something.
Match?
Like, He'll watch like rugby, and I imagine if there was like Gaelic football or something like that on, he would probably watch that too. But I don't think you can get that on like non-satellite or anything from around here.
Oh, that was a rough inning there for the Toasters.
Dad tried to force me to go to musical theater, but I only wanted to play hockey. That was it for sure.
Hello Dolly's in town. It's only here for 2 shows. Come on.
Well, that's the thing. As a grown-ass man, I decided I wanted to go to hockey games and to opera, which was, as it turns out, very expensive to try and do both, or really either individually if you want good seats. Oh, that ball totally bounced into like home run territory.
They put up a force field once the ground rule double starts taking effect.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought that was out of here. I mean, it's still 2
You know,
good runs. But...
when they play baseball, they have the ground rule Dabo. Oh, here's another one out there.
Yeah, I used to watch baseball with my my grandpa, but the year the strike happened was like, I think there was a lot of kids that were kind of on the fence about being into sports, and they were just like, well, guess I'm not into sports now.
Which is why we just have a whole generation of kids now that are just like, sports ball, lol.
It has nothing to do with all the video games we could be playing instead of doing sports ball.
I watch baseball. Like I typically I wouldn't watch it on TV anymore, except like, as it turns out, the team that I actually started following, got into the World Series and won it. But I would always go to minor league games whenever I was younger, just because either that was that was typically just the nearest city around, and like now even. I'm just as happy to go to. I was just as happy to go to like the Frederick Keys as I was to go to a Nats game, almost, because like you get down there and you get down there and you're like in like the 3rd row or the 2nd row, and you can just walk right up and whatever's going on. You could taunt the players if you really wanted to, but no. But it's like you're still watching professional athletes. You're still watching people who are way better at it than you. So why not give some respect, huh?
Yeah. And we're talking about USA football, which one could argue that.
Well, that was USA.
You could describe soccer as USA football because it's like football, but in the USA. But yeah.
I also had the distinction of being able to say that I was a fan of an American football team that was both really terrible and won their championship, and that the Washington Valor, which went 2-10 in the 2018 season, then still managed to make it into and win Arena Bowl 31 because there were only 4 teams. And so like basically everybody had to make their playoff scheme, and they just happened to have like 3 good games.
The broken clock was right 3 times this day.
Yeah. Sweet. Sugar Dunkerton. JG mentioned Sugar Dunkerton. He was on AEW Dynamite. That's good, JG. I like apparently like after we saw him in the like Northern Virginia independent wrestling scene, he went out and basically like relocated to Britain for a while and was doing a lot of overseas wrestling dates and venues and stuff, but cool if he came back. Interesting that he would make a big arena or a big wrestling league appearance while all the wrestling leagues are playing in empty arenas or in empty venues. So it's like, oh man, this is my big shot. I'm finally going to get to be in front of tens of thousands of fans, and oh, never mind, they all had to be sent home.
Well, and this is where we need what was it called? Robot
spectators?
We need BattleBots back on. They can be like the professional wrestlers robots.
Wasn't Matt Imahara one of the like BattleBot constructor guys? The Mythbusters guy was also a BattleBots guy.
I think so. I don't actually know a lot about BattleBots. I just know that they're bots that battle, and as you can tell, I'm kind of into that.
I don't know about it, but I'm kind of into it.
I enjoy watching.
Dangerous territory there.
Do you know what? I was the same way with pro wrestling when I was younger. I liked watching pro wrestling, but I wasn't paying too much attention to like any of the behind the scenes stuff.
You were reading the dirt sheets.
Yeah.
That as a whole thing is just especially even with the advent of podcasting has just become just this enormous, like, I mean, like bulletin boards and everything made that, you know, as an entertainment that was basically staged sport. You know, bulletin boards ate that kind of thing up because then you could talk about how you knew what was really going on. Versus like baseball, you say, I know what's really going on. Both teams are trying to win.
Well, no, every once in a while, though, you're like, I know what's really going on. They stole the signs. And they're like, no, they didn't. What are you talking about? And then 2 years later, you're like, guess what?
They stole the signs, and it almost worked.
They would have gotten away with it, too.
If it weren't for those scheming Nationals. But like that and podcasting now, like, not only does every, like, you know, wrestling fan have a podcast, but every, like, retired pro wrestling manager or, you know, promoter or somebody has, like, their own thing of, like, well, back in my days when we did it in the territories, it was like this, and I bet what they're doing now is this. Ha-her. And they do say ha-her.
They have to say it a lot. Hee-haw, cowboy.
Yes. I keep hearing you say "ni-hao, cowboy," which I don't think is.
It's more like a donkey sound. Hee-haw.
Hee-haw, cowboy. Like "ni-hao, cowboy." It's like, well, yeah, okay. It's you know.
Well, it was taking place in Japan.
It's cowboys of the old Far East. Shishi, cowboy.
So the Diamond Cutters seem to have taken offense to the Toasters getting 2 runs.
Oh yeah. I really should be paying more attention to the scoreboard, eh? Alright, stop scoring here and make it a tribute to the great Larry Bird.
They can't do it.
They can't stop
they
scoring.
They can't stop, will stop.
Can't stop, will stop, must stop. Whoa, they got 11,000. They got.
I know, it looks like
110,015 points. They call them points in baseball, right? If there weren't a 5 in there, it would have just looked like a string of binary, which would have really made sense in this context.
Yeah. Although, I like to do this every time. Maybe this is the time the comeback happens.
Well, don't call it that, because they've been here for years.
Well, the game has been going on for that long. Now, see, if Hill had used his battle gimmick to great effect there, he'd be on third base now. But instead, he was too busy daydreaming about propane.
That's right.
And propane accessories.
I was wondering which member of the Hill family was going to get the nod there. And then, like, the next time that he was going to do something, I was going to try and stop. I was going to see whether or not I would stop myself from being able to say, "Bobby."
Oh! They managed to get it just to touch the ground there. If somebody can hit a home run here, it's going to be a devastatingly small drop in the bucket, but it'll still be there. But instead, a double play happens and the round is over.
Now, see, the thing is, the exciting aspect about this game, folks, is that, you know, you may think that the Toasters are out of it, but it only is going to take 3 KOs for them to manage to claw out the win, even despite being down 30 points, or 30 runs.
So Alt apparently gets excited by Olympic cross-country skiing.
Olympic cross-country skiing is pretty cool. A lot of the Olympic sports, like, I know everybody, like, sort of laughs and jokes about curling, but, like, it's actually kind of a tense sport once you.
I enjoy watching curling.
Up and everything.
That could have been a double play if the shortstop had been onto the base faster. I enjoy curling in the same way that I enjoy pro wrestling, where I don't follow it at all, but if a game's on, I'm like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah. But, like that, and I really like the winter biathlon, which, like, there have been, like, comedians have made, routines about. It's like, what the hell kind of sport is this, where you just go cross-country skiing for a while, and then you shoot at some targets? But I'm like, it's actually really, like, it gets pretty tense because you're watching these guys and you're like, okay, like this guy is just behind, enough. But if he could just manage to stay calm and make these shots, is he gonna make all 5 of them? Oh no! Yeah, that's right,
Yeah, well,
JG. I
and
think.
I was gonna say, just compared to just regular sports shooting, like it's easy to, well, not easy, but comparatively easy to hit a target from that distance when you're all calm and just like, yeah, I've been sitting around, relaxing. I took a few practice shots before now, and then my heart is racing really fast because he got inside the laser gun there.
My arms and legs are tired because I've been pumping them nonstop trying to.
Yeah, and they're shaking, and especially at the very end, you're trying to hold the gun up, and they're not light.
No. Even just like that's the thing, you don't realize it, but like even those like color guard, like they'll have the rifle that they like spin and throw and stuff, and like those aren't light either, and they aren't even constructed to like fire a projectile of any sort. I remember when I was a kid, and of course this would probably get me arrested now, but like when I was a little kid, I went out for
I used to go cross-country skiing
like,
all the time and then shoot stuff.
Yeah. When I was a little kid, I went out for Halloween as an army man one year, and my father's an army veteran, and he still had his M16, not the fireable one, but like they have dummy M16s that are basically just ones that have had the firing mechanism like either like welded fused or removed. I don't know exactly how they do it, but that they keep to just simulate it for when they like have to go out and do like marching exercises and like running training exercises and things like that, because it would be dangerous to have live weapons with live ammo in them. But he still had that. He may still, I don't know, but like it was an actual M16, not a toy one, not something with like an orange cone on the end or anything else like that. I was like carrying around for one, comically oversized on a child. Two, I was like, my neck would hurt from just like it being like sort of strung over me on a string, like on a rope or whatever. Cause yeah, like those things, they're rough. But speaking of which, let's sit here and reflect on 3 to 43. Well, at least we don't have to watch the bottom of the ninth. See how much cuter the Diamond Cuters could have gotten with their gameplay.
Well, and when we look at this here, you can really see that they got 2 runs, and the Diamond Cutters were like, all right, fine, we're playing baseball. Because they only got 3 runs before that, and then they're like, really, you guys are going to make us work for this? Fine, we'll make it so that we don't have to play the 9th inning. Yeah. For sure. And yeah, curling is one of those sports, to get backing up to Chattel here a little bit. They're getting ahead of us. Well, now I'm confused. Immortal Knight, what's great if you understand it, but most can't think that deep?
I think this was the discussion of curling.
Well, yeah, but then now it's like curling for most is like Grateful Dead fans. Why? Are you for or against it? I'm still not sure.
Well, I mean, maybe he's just saying that he understands that some people really get into it, but that he does not. It's not his cup of meat.
Could be.
I will say though, the one
really
Olympic sport,
cross-country skiing.
Yeah, the one Olympic sport that I'm not trying to knock in any way, because I get like the amount of work and coordination and things that go into it. But I remember, I think it was Atlanta '96, because I remember at the time I was visiting family in Ireland, so like the Olympics were coming to the U.S. for the first time in a while, and I was in another country to watch them, so like they were focusing on the Irish athletes that were going on and doing stuff, but like they did take one step away, because the American team at the Atlanta Games put on a perfect 10 from all judges scored round in synchronized swimming. And I saw this routine and was like, this is apparently the greatest synchronized swimming routine that's ever happened. And I was just watching it. It's like, I don't know. It was okay, I guess. I guess it looks pretty good, but I'm not, breath's not taken away.
Yeah. More like we were asking if you are pro or against curling.
Experts, you need a YouTube URL for the Atlanta. Like, I don't know. I've just given you all the information I have. I didn't see it on YouTube. I watched it as it happened in 1996.
Watched it live. Let's look at the rankings here for a second. So, I mean, the Unstoppables are still the most likely to kind of push into third. But we'll see how it goes. Everyone's got a lot of games left. Sorry, I meant to go to home run rankings. The Diamond Cutters are all over the home run rankings. JG Mysteries as well.
Yeah.
God,
I'm sorry. Yeah, let's look at the rankings here. This is like, oh yeah. But no, Alda's noting that God, we're so old, and I just happened to realize yesterday the first car that I ever owned, 95 Nissan Maxima, Arctic White Pearl, and it was beautiful. And I still, out of all the cars I've owned since, I like that car the most. I think it's the nicest car I've had. But it would be registerable as an antique now. So if I'd hung on to it, I could put vintage plates on it. And you know, it was manufactured only a year before I would have been legally able to drive it. Pretty sure I did probably drive it around that time because it was in the family. But what are we looking at here in terms of games remaining?
I don't know. I'm just kind of winging it here. It depends on how long the games go. And if you need to duck out ahead of time, just let me know.
Oh, sure. No, I meant more in terms of, like, in the league.
So, we're playing 10 games per matchup.
Okay.
Is what it is. I guess the series is 10 games, but we spread them out for some reason instead of playing the full series.
Now, when you say 10 games, do you mean, like...
It's not best of... It's best of 10.
You've got you've got the J at Z column and then the Z at J column. Does that add up to 10, or is it 10 each?
It's 10 each. The column is just used to choose who's the home and who's the away team, but their scores invert.
Okay, so you're right. I really ought to have noticed that.
So we're gonna put the Unstoppables against the Toasters here. Let's see who comes out on top. They've actually had a pretty even matched. They're the most evenly matched of all the scores, if you take note of that.
So I noticed you have played fewer Zerfall Select games and JG Mysteries games, it looks like, than some of these others. Is that just because they were starting to get big advantages and you wanted to let the other team sort of build up some money to be able to put up some kind of fight?
That's exactly what's going on, and I'm a little worried it might bite me in the butt when it comes to the Zerf Select games that happen later, because I have full confidence that the JG Mysteries will use their AI prowess to come out on top, because they were doing that when they were evenly matched. So they've already...
JG is pointing out in chat, and you know, as a player on that team, and therefore I guess an employee of his. In full disclosure, I'm a player on the JG Mystery. I know I sound like totally natural in my speech patterns, but I am a robot. He's an owner bot, so you know. We live in a strange future where, I mean, you know, corporations are people. Why can't robots also own property?
Yeah, so as much as I'm nerfing my own team as well here, but I think it's more that I'm the commissioner of the league, and I'm trying to make sure that there's some get more butts in the seats here.
You're trying to be the most fan-friendly commissioner in the history of this zone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Xfuzz, the first robot real estate developer. I like to think that the first robot real estate developer just like develops like a row of like phone booth sized places with like a power jack in them. It's just like a charger. Like, here you go.
That's like
own your own piece.
Bender's apartment.
Yeah.
But without the closet.
As the commissioner, he's making a concerted effort to control the outcomes of games. Oh. I mean, there are always people that make these theories about these sorts of things. Like, I remember for a long time, like, my sports examples often end up being Formula One racing because it's the thing that I've sort of had the strongest sporting interest in. But, like, during the days when Brazilian Ayrton Senna and French driver Alain Prost were, on the same team but competing against each other for the individual drivers' championship, which is the thing that most people really care about. But the fact that the FIA was headed at that time by a man named Jean-Paul Belestre, who was a Frenchman as well, would, like, every time there was some decision about some contentious thing that happened between the two of those, people, like when there was a collision on track involving them, or some variety of, like, one of them was complaining about how the rules were helping the other one, like, then, was it Jean-Paul or Jean-Marie Belestre? Either way, Belestre would come in and, say something, and everybody would be like, oh, he's only saying that because Prost is French. He's trying to make French F1 champion or whatever. I'm like, well, I guess you can't please everybody. Boy, howdy. Also,
Sky,
any of these... sorry.
Well, Sky just hit a home run, so we've got 1-0 here for the Unstoppables now. It'd been a scoreless game up till this point.
The Unstoppables playing in blue today.
Yep. And
this is the thing
this
that's
league
really
is trying
difficult
to...
about this game is that, like, you kind of wish that, like, every team had their own, like, color set.
It's all
so
about being able to maximize profits. We don't have to have paint jobs done and all this stuff.
Well, would you keep have to like paint them red and then paint them blue, then paint them red, and then paint them blue,
well, no,
depending on whether they're at home or away?
They go through the mister every time on the way into the field.
Hey, mister!
But yeah, the league's just trying to help the owners maximize their profits, but also it saves money in the shop that the commissioner runs, where the robots buy all their parts. Do you need that in blue or red? I only sell 2 colors.
He just buys those 2 paints in bulk. And it's not even like a standard red. It's like a little bit more violet than your usual red.
It's the not only red that the Nintendo can do.
I'm sorry?
Well, the Nintendo only has like 16 colors that you can choose from in the palette. It's not like systems in the future. They're like, okay, you can only have so many colors on screen, but you can pick them from this variety.
Yeah.
So they have like red, and then they have, this is our other red that's a little more different.
The NES was more like, well, I mean, my touchstone for this is Dr. Halo, but, like, I'm sure a lot of early drawing programs were like, here are 16 different boxes of color on the bottom row, and if you hit this key, you can change what those 16 boxes are, but you can't change, like, you can't use one from this set and one from that set. Yeah.
So the Nintendo isn't quite like that. It's just like, yeah, we have these colors. And it's more than 16, but they're like, we have these colors, and they're the ones you can use.
Yeah. Well, because, like, Fireman and, like... Because Fireman, like, not a fireman, but Fireman from the original Mega Man game. Like, he was, like, your, sort of fire engine red kind of color. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe this just looks a little bit more futuristic.
It's future red.
Yeah,
in the future, maybe these robots have been playing baseball for hundreds of years, and they're just a little UV bleached.
That's it. They're actually made of their panels are actually made of plastic, so they get out in the sun for a long time.
They've had to start selling the parts in this color to match. They're like, well, I guess we'll just make a new mix.
Well, yeah, because originally it was just their bumpers, because the bumpers were made of plastic, and the rest of them were made out of sheet metal. But then, like, they'd be walking around having, like, pink bumpers, and I'm not basing this experience on my friend's Civic at all.
It's headcanon for these robots. Oh, Grimmeth is getting out of the park this time. Last time he got caught out right at the wall, but he's extending the lead by 1 here for the Unstoppables.
That's right. The numbers on the backs of the jerseys are either a string of binary or barcodes. Or you could just get a string of binary that reads out, he hate me. Ah, you're not that big a football fan, but you know he hate me.
Well, some things just
Honestly,
percolate down, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's time for that.
Sometimes the coronavirus is going to have a devastating impact on a lot of different things, whether they be, just the economy overall. Oil prices are now like what? They will like pay you money to take oil away from them or something? What exactly is going on?
They're running out of room in their silos. They gotta free it up.
Yeah. The oil silos. That silage season comes along and they take some of the oil out and then cover it in tarp so that it'll ferment. to make good feed. For cars. I guess it's the same process. Really.
better gas mileage. It's the same process. It just takes longer.
But yeah, so
we'll put these dinosaurs under this tarp for a while so we can use it to run our cars.
If we bring dinosaurs back, that's going to be why. It's going to be because Big Oil needed to get more dinosaur fuel.
We've invented the perfect paleontological cloning methods and time machines so that we can go back and make more oil. Bury these dinosaurs.
This is the power
as deep
of
as you
Big Oil.
And that's why our timeline is so effed up.
Yeah. Oh boy. No, but I was gonna say, this, but of course, the XFL was only just getting started. They were only a couple of weeks into their season. Their re-debut season. It might only last another season again.
It's just not meant to be.
Well, in which case it becomes a tradition. Like every 20 years, they just need to have one season of like outlaw renegade football, and then just stop again. Oh, the XFL declared bankruptcy. Well, shit, dog.
Maybe they're just trying to get access to more funds.
That's true. I mean, declaring bankruptcy doesn't actually mean anything. Like, Kmart declared bankruptcy like several years ago now. It seems like a lifetime ago. It was probably only like, October. It's just everything seems that way. Yeah, I did see that, JG. I guess the Revival were already fired before this big culling, but then Anderson and Gallows, a bunch of other folks. No, but Kmart declared bankruptcy for whatever, ages ago. Yeah. No. I mean, no.
Oh, but you know what? It still was enough to hit Grimmeth home.
Yeah. It was an in-the-park triple.
as most are.
I guess, yeah. If you knock it out of the park, and then you're just like, in the interest of fair play, I'm only going to go to third base. Let's resume the game.
Well, and if it bounces out, you're never allowed to go past second, so...
Yeah.
There's no point in time where they're going to be like, oh no, you already rounded second when it went out. You can take an extra base. You're pretty good. Ah, Mortal Light, thanks for the follow. You're pretty good.
That's good.
And the alerts are working again.
Oh, I was curious as to whether alerts are happening because I'm watching, and I'm grateful for this. I'm glad that I'm watching this Discord thing because I can see the play-by-play as closely as I'm following it and giving out. He's got it. He got it. Yeah, he caught that one. Humans. I mean, not humans, but like humanoid robots versus the ones that are like half tank or floaty guys. Immortal Knight. According to the manual, these are robot players because the whole reason in the games headcanon that this whole league came into being was that baseball players were too entitled and wanted too much money, and so if they just had robots that they used as equipment versus players that had to be properly compensated, then they'd be able to save a fortune.
Also, I gotta mention, when something's the official canon, it's the head canon of the people that wrote the game. I think it's just regular canon.
No, because I think this is actually going to come to pass, but it's going to be just because nobody can go out to, sporting events, so they're just going to start building robots to go play sports for us.
No, it might be the opposite. They might just be like, look, streaming technology's come a long way. It costs a lot less to build a ton of really, really crappy robots that are in the stands. You get to buy a season pass, put on your VR helmet, and now you're there. And when you turn your head, the robot turns its head.
There's like a little button that you can click, and it just makes like this simple simple motor mechanism just sort of starts spinning, and it just makes one hand clap against another. So
and they'll have the wave button you press to do the wave, but it's not programmed to automatically work.
No, because that, unless I bet if you spend a few extra streamer points, you can probably set it to auto wave so that you'll never miss out.
I don't think it's, well, I mean, we have the fatalities as a team here, but
I mean, the fatalities is a team name. The Denver Broncos are not actually a team of football playing horses.
Really? Could have fooled me.
Sorry. Most of those kinds of mascots don't work. Some of them do, like the Rough Riders. Okay, maybe during the rest of the week they're cowboys. But on Saturday and Sunday, it's time to go play some football. Or the Green Bay Packers, they work in they work in the slaughterhouse, during the rest of the week, and then when Sunday comes along, they get out there on the gridiron.
So the fatalities name might be just a holdover from back when the league first started, and they actually were a bunch of murderers.
Well, however, the Buffalo Bills, every member of the team is named Bill. The classic Bobo Bowl Buffalo Bills, their quarterback was Bill Jim Kennedy or Bill Jim Kelly. Goodness.
No, I thought Buffalo Bill was like
Bill Thurman Thomas.
I thought
he was the guy that kept that woman in the pit and made her use lotion. And
I thought he was like the King Charlemagne of America, where it's been long enough, everyone's related to him. Everyone's a Buffalo Bill if they want to be.
I mean, maybe that's true. I don't know how much he got around in olden times, but it was a real Wild Wild West show. Let me tell you that.
So there is actually there's not a counter for robots destroyed. There's a counter for robots defeated in combat that we can look at in between matches.
Immortal Knight originally had the username Rough Rider when he first got on the internet, and I'm sure he got a lot of IMs from people that maybe had a different idea.
Oh, the other meaning, which is there were two Canadian football teams, both called the Rough Riders. Although one had a space and one didn't. I think.
One of them was guys that were one of them was just the actual guys that
rode roughly.
One of them was the guys that are riding out their horses and everything. The other one was they're just a bunch of poorly tuned engines. Boy, this thing's riding rough. Boy, let me tell you, I guess secret's out. I'm doing a postal job now, and those postal vans that they use in the U.S. now, that they've been using since, that they've been using since probably most of the stream audience was born, and not even just it's the same model. It's no, they built all of them before you guys were born. But I tell you what, if you turn the wheel all the way to the left or right, full lock, because you're trying to maneuver in and around a tight space, or when people park right next to their mailboxes, don't do that. When people park right next to their mailbox, you have to reel in and then wheel out. You turn it all the way, the car's pretty likely to stall.
That's I can't handle power steering and moving the car at the same time.
And gas, what? Next, you're gonna ask for a fan to work.
So right now, I'm playing a bunch of the AI matches on my YouTube channel. I play the player matches. This is a 2-year-old series because the AI games can take so freaking long when some of the scores get up into the 50s and stuff.
Oh, error.
Yeah, he could have had the double point into the game
error.
There.
I mean, it doesn't matter when he's already caught out, but
But yeah, a bunch of people donated to the MS Society of Canada too. That's the end of the game there. The MS Society of Canada have robots added to this league, and I will play this whole league out if it takes me until this year's charity stream. I got to get it. I've been streaming more often lately, and I'm hoping to get all the games done here.
Honestly, you could have made partner just on this. You kept playing these. I should have figured that out as a scheme. Oh man, if there was a way that I could have gotten as fun as MLB Power Pros is, if there was a way I could have figured out how to make it autoplay itself, I might have actually gotten somewhere. My apologies again to everybody that donated on the off chance, not like on the chance that they would get to be an MLB Power Pro. I don't think my incentive was so much that anybody was specific. Like, honestly, I feel like the max effort that people had for that was that they had to go in and put in a profile. I'm sorry for everybody that had to put in a profile.
All right, so we've got that one in the books here. And let's look at the rankings real quick. So there are battle rankings. These aren't people killed. These are just battles won. And the fatalities are on there relatively frequently. They were on a little more, but I think a couple people just moved up the ranks this last couple games.
Although Maxwell Damage has managed to get the Zerfall select on the board, despite them not having played as many games as many of the other teams.
Yeah, you just wait till we get caught up here.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I know that you basically could put yourself on the top of the battle rankings, but out of a sense of fair play, you try and play the games.
I don't force extra battles when I shouldn't be. Like,
yeah.
If it's not a good idea to run to the base, I don't run to the base.
Yeah, you're not doing the thing where you just run back and forth between the bases, hoping to summon someone to you to fight them.
All right, let's get at least one more match in here.
Sure.
See how it plays out. So what do we have? That's 6. That's 6. So the Unstoppables just played. The Diamond Cutters have played quite a bit today too, though. But Shaman's active in chat right now, so we're gonna have him play the fatalities here.
I mean, they have a doubleheader. It's fine. Doubleheader against 2 different teams.
Well, it's too late. I've already hit play ball. Well, not play ball, but I've already... There's no backing out of having pressed the button. So we have Diamond Cutters up again with J2 John Jeremy and Shaman as the human players in this. The fatalities with Tolpanzer and Fatal Alex. It's too late.
It's too late, baby. No, it's too late. Wow.
You can't apologize. It's too late to apologize.
Yeah.
Although I believe it's not too late to apologize. It's just too late to apologize.
Apologize, yeah. Too late for polo, guys.
Now, and here's the thing, too. I got to run and get a beverage really quick so that I can wet my whistle.
Yeah,
so I
realized after I was saying that. Oh, okay. I could talk about things completely unrelated to this game without you here. It's just as easily as I could when you're around. Well, okay, let's actually try and make a concerted effort here. Oh, we got a strong drive up to center field.
I can't
go!
I saw that, and it was an impressive home run.
Yeah. That was a low angle home run too, so it really walloped somebody in like the first or second row. J2 John Derby up to bat. 500 hit points. For a second there I thought it was his ERA, and I was like, oh, okay. That's pretty good. That's another one out. Well. Zerf explained the rules on home runs. Well, okay. The rules on home runs, really quickly, are when a batter hits the ball, and he hits it all the way to the other side of the fence where the spectators are, outside of the foul lines. Yeah, that's a home run. Yeah, I get you. I think it's... I thought it was 1 an inning, maybe it is 3 an inning, but then after you've scored 10 runs, or 10 home runs,
yes,
you don't get any, no matter what it is.
1 per inning, and then, yes, after you get a score of 10, you're making the game take too long. So, and I think we've saved easily half an hour worth of screen time over the course of doing that.
Speaking of male vehicles, would always picture a white Jeep. Honestly, I would love a postal Jeep to be able to run because they had glass all around. The modern postal Grumman LLVs are big vans with nothing behind you that you can see, which is why they have those giant constructs of mirrors all over the place. But you're still basically like, I wonder what's back there. You still can't see directly behind you, no matter what. Because, that's just how it goes. I think they're impractical these days because there's far more parcel delivery that gets done. And those Jeeps were a little small in comparison, but yeah. Also, the fact that any of them that are around now are like antiques that people, that they value greatly, and also,
they'd make more money selling them to collectors than delivering mail in them.
No, which is why I was boring you the other evening, trying to discuss how it would be great to bring over one of those Japanese microvans and run one of those around with mail.
So we had a van that looked like that, but it was just a minivan. Like, it was the same shape, and I was like, man, these microvans are cute as heck. And then I found out that you're more likely to die in one, so I was like,
Now you're just talking about ones that have like sort of the flat nose on them because the engine is like underneath
under
the driver, and like in between the driver and passenger, basically. Like like the Toyota Previas and that sort of thing. Geez, 10 runs in the first inning.
Yeah, you've used up all your home run animations in one inning, and by that I mean you get one home run animation.
The Diamond Cuters are not. The Diamond Cuters are not. Are apparently not done just slaughtering today. They didn't have enough last time.
Oh, but the home runs are being answered here.
And
at least a 10-to-1 ratio.
That's true. You could buy a tuk-tuk. I'm also strongly tempted by the fact that the Daihatsu Midget, the first model years of the Daihatsu Midget 2 will become eligible for vintage importation in the next year or two. And I have fond memories of them from Gran Turismo 2. I don't know that they would be big enough for delivering mail, or the right shape exactly. Because you want something that's at least wide enough for you to be able to put a tray of mail next to you. I don't know whether or not you could do that in one of those.
I do find it amusing that... he got cut out right at the base. He's not going to win this fight. Unless he gets
he's going to have moves. A bar.
I do find it amusing that you
pause between that jump kick and then the punching of the dead body.
You just want to let him know.
I believe if this were like robot football, that would be considered a late hit. It's like, all right, you proved your point.
So I do find it amusing that I know over the years I think you've contemplated what street car would I love to be driving around in, and I'm just like, you know what, these cars would be pretty cool for just delivering mail,
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'm just like, you know what, I have to find a way to justify being able to have this. What if I had it for my job?
Yeah,
I could get a
tax write-off.
If I had a mileage allowance for this, I could pay it off using mileage allowance within several years.
Yeah, this game is full of kicking them while they're down.
Yeah, jeez.
Which the Diamond Cutters do both in the battles and in the scoring.
Please, Diamond Cutters, don't hurt them.
I'm sure you've heard the various discussions about what that phrasing is supposed to be about.
Or how it's supposed to actually be said outside of, the context of the album cover. This guy is begging him, please, Hammer, please. He's got a family.
Just don't hurt him.
Yeah. It was a different podcast, actually, that I was listening to a while back that was noting that, they hadn't seen it, and I haven't seen it either, but yes, somebody has to have created a meme by now related to coronavirus quarantining to the tune of "Can't touch this."
I'm sure it's all over TikTok.
Yeah, perhaps just indicating people's faces, or what, just to get
It's just everything in general. If you've left your
just
house.
the presence of other people. Can't touch this.
Yeah.
Doorknob. Can't touch this. Oh,
Have
not
good-
that JG. Just
He's
completely unsurprised.
and I'm
Just like,
leaving.
good night. Just
Have a good-
bye.
Have a good night, GG.
Have a good night, JG. Love you, brother.
Oh man, they almost got a triple play from that, despite holding onto the ball for a while and sending it through as many robots as possible.
They're just trying to get cute. They're just trying to get Diamond cuter.
So it looks like this time they perhaps front-loaded the run so they could take it easy. Or once they realized they weren't getting any more space jets, they were like, time to
They
cool
don't
our
want
jets.
They don't want the tank bot. They don't want the sound of the tank box's wheels making them crazy. So that ship looks almost, but not quite like a Gradius or Gradius ship. But that's I mean, it's another Konami Ultra joint, so I can see whether or not it's just. I don't know if it's like close enough that it's supposed to be a reference, or if it's just like, yeah, I mean, they're the same graphic designers. They're just like, this is how I draw a spaceship.
This is how I draw a spaceship. Or, you know what? If I just change a couple of these pixels, I can say this took just as long as the other ship.
Yeah.
And get on.
It's another guy trying to expense something. It's like, now I'm going to drive home in my Daihatsu Midget, which I used to deliver mail. I can't wait for them to start making them in several years.
The Fatalities are doing a pretty good job of doing a comeback here, but every time I ever start talking about comebacks, they disappear into the ether.
Have you ever, when was the last time you saw one of these games have a big momentum shift? Like, I'm talking about, like, outside of, like any of these where there's the huge score on one side and then there's enough of a swing. Like, I'm not saying, like, the first team scores 2 runs in the first inning and don't go unreturned, and then the scoreless team, like, racks up 40. But, like, one of these where it's, like, in robot baseball terms, it's actually a big swing.
I think we've seen maybe 2 of them in the whole season, and it's been a while. As soon as the team started getting sort of economical imbalances from having won and lost games, but there have definitely been times where it's been an exciting swing the other way. Unfortunately, you know what? I write down the scores into our little feed. How did that get between everybody? I mean, he got caught out anyways, but that was amazing that it didn't get caught by a... Oh, no, do you know what? I think it got caught by the pitcher, and then he threw it at the second baseman. He wasn't there. Never mind. Less exciting. But
I'll give us the brief Gradius history. Now, does this also include Salamander Life Force? Or, I mean, that would have been in between, like, before Base Wars as well, but, like... Now, this is a theory, I don't know if I've spouted a bunch of places around here, too, or not, but I feel like Gradius was one of those, like... LR transposition things, and they were actually meaning this spaceship to be like named after a cool sword. And instead it's Gradius. But I don't know whether or not that's what actually happened.
I mean, it sounds like the type of thing that could be plausible too, but then when anyone asks about it, they're like, no. What are you talking about? Of course it's Gradius. Why would we... It's a ship, not a sword.
Like, there was a...
I'm gonna go home and cry a little bit. They figured us out again.
Oh, no. It's like there was a I'm gonna bring it back to cars again because that's what I love to do with robot baseball streams. There was a car that got sold in the US, but it had a different name. It got sold in Europe as the Star Ion, which they came back later and claimed, oh well, we were basically using it was a clumsy portmanteau of Star of Orion. When really, you're thinking about it was supposed to be a sports car that could compete with the Ford Mustang, and so they called it the Starion.
Oh yeah, everyone knows what happened there. Looking at old history here, what happened in Nemesis 2? Now,
This might have
I
been a
don't know
Rambo
if
situation.
yeah,
where,
that's what I was gonna say. It's Gradius 2, Nemesis 2, or
Nemesis 3, the sequel to Gradius 2.
or is Salamander's full title Salamander Nemesis 2, and it's actually Nemesis was supposed to be a prequel. They were like, we knew the prequel was coming, so we called it Nemesis 2 before.
They called it Nemesis Origins. Which is a thing that they wouldn't have done in those days, but like nowadays they totally would.
I don't know. I mean, like, Star Wars is episode 4, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, everybody says, and this is, you know, when you want to talk about gaslighting or whatever, people are like, oh no, it was always A New Hope. It's like, no.
No, it wasn't.
That friggin' movie was Star Wars.
It was just Star Wars for a while. Speaking of Star Wars, I watched an interesting video that was a couple of years old. That was like a Deadmau5 mini tour of his studio, and he apparently has R2-D2's voice.
I mean, he's taking it through the studio and he's going
No, he
while he tells you about the stuff.
Well, so now I'm extra confused because there's no Nemesis 1, so maybe it is a Rambo situation. But anyways, no, he has the synthesizer that was R2-D2, and not just this synthesizer is the same model that made R2-D2. It's like, no, this is the one that they used to make R2-D2.
This is the one that was used to make his voice. So you don't mean that we went to Deadmau5's house. It turns out that Deadmau5 has R2-D2's voice.
You take off the hat, and underneath, it's just R2-D2's all the way down.
All the way down. He took off more than his hat, I see.
And here's the little R2-D2.
It's quite a way to greet someone at the door. Let me show you my house. And this.
Oh, I see. So Gradius was called Nemesis.
Yeah.
So there's a very good chance that it was a misplaced R.
Yeah. I wonder where all the L's are.
Where'd all the L's go? They're like with all the socks. We ran we ran the Japanese through the Google Translator, and all the L's have ended up with all the socks.
Just ended up, falling in between the barrel of the washer and I don't know. So I should feel bad about how little attention I'm paying to this game, but at the same time, it's 20-4. If you were at this game, you'd be like, it's kind of interesting.
You'd be talking about where all the L's went to.
Yeah.
What the L is this?
It's sort of like I don't want to leave because like runs are being scored, which is kind of exciting. But
I might get one of these cyber balls.
I want to give you one of these cyber balls. Hey, honey, you want to get me one of these cyber balls for my birthday? Speaking of which, I do love my wife. She, in an effort to support local business, I'm sure, and also just because, you know, she likes doing a little bit of shopping too, but she visited the local estate sale place's website, and, you know, they're not having they're not having everything where you can go in and look at all the stuff inside the store. They would typically post pictures of everything before the sale each month, but
and now they're just turning it into online sales instead of.
Now they're just turning it into online sales, and she went and they had a batch of Game Boy games in there, and she picked it up. There were 2 copies of Link's Awakening, and 2 copies of like Caesar Palace,
yeah.
Caesar's Palace, and I think Top Player Tennis. I could go look at this because I took a picture of it to.
A very high res picture.
Well, I mean, you know, it was taken on a Moto X4. It's pretty exciting stuff.
It great enough detail to be able to look at the tiny little logo that tells you if it's 1 player or 2 player. How many boys are playing the game?
How many Game Boys are there? Tetris 2, which I believe I already had, and Tetris, which I don't have, or I didn't have until now.
I used to have 2 copies of Tetris until my brother took back all his Game Boy games. And I was like, you know what? Fair enough. Those are your Game Boy games.
You know, I have like a bunch of Game Boy Advance games that just belong to a guy I used to work with, and he was like, "I'm going to bring you."
I shouldn't be.
Oh, breaking all the rules that you have put into effect.
Listen, I'm the commissioner here. People don't want to see the Jets in space; they want to see more home runs.
They want dingers.
No, if Stanley gets his butt in the air, no, he just tried for the punches.
Stanley, if only you just didn't care. It's hard to tell whether he just doesn't care, because if he just doesn't care, he might put his butt in the air. But also, if he didn't care, maybe he just was not putting forth the effort and hustle for sports that is necessary to win at this.
You know what? Actually, Green tried to do the butt bounce there, and Turner turned it around on him. So I'm going to say that perhaps they just know. Don't bother trying to butt bounce Turner. He's going to...
It is weird, because like you would think that if he got high enough in the air, he wouldn't be able to be shoulder blocked, and yet there we are. Maybe flybots can't fly that high. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Ooh.
Ald is noting that the Japanese characters for the Roman sword are the same as the characters in the game. So, if you look at Japanese... Ald has done a lot of... Ald's delved into the history of some of these types of things.
Oh, it says...
I feel like...
That says Gradius.
Yeah.
I'm guessing based on the context, which apparently in Japanese, context has a lot to do with the definition of some of these characters sometimes, or words.
Yeah. So, like, when you say I took, you know, like whenever, I'm going through puberty, sorry. But here, when you have a situation where somebody's like, oh, you took my words totally out of context. In Japan, they'll just like they would just say like, no, you took my characters totally out of context.
Everyone knows the definition of this word is different based on this context. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
One of the speaking of languages, English.
Sure.
That's pretty
speaking
messed up
in languages.
Yeah. One of the things that comes up quite frequently when talking about English with me is that the order of descriptive words.
Yes.
Like you have to follow rules, and like
Yes.
nobody tells you these rules. They don't teach you them in school. You just learn them from talking to other people. But like,
yeah, you basically just have an instinctive knowledge of them, and I always forget what it is. And like, I've until very recently, I've sort of put it on pause because I wanted to devote, you know, like some hours of my day to not working on something. But I was doing a proofreading job, and they had like a little guidebook of some common stuff, and like the order of them was in there, and now I can't remember what it was. I could probably go look it up.
I can tell you for sure, color comes after size.
I don't know. Sometimes color and size are just totally one-for-one match. Am I right, ladies?
But like, if you said, you know, big red truck, everyone's like, yeah, that makes sense. If you said that red big truck, everyone would be like, what are you talking about?
Yes.
Why are you talking like that?
What's interesting is my niece, who you know I've mentioned once or twice, like JG's mentioned sometimes something, but like used to say, and I don't know if she still does, but like would ask like a particular beverage that she liked. She liked juice, and she liked it in a large container, and she liked it cold. And she would always ask specifically, could I have a nice big fresh cold juice? And like she had to put all those descriptors in, and in that order, and it sounds a little strange, but I think that might actually be
the correct order. It's just weird to have that many descriptors.
Now, because like quality, I think is the farthest out one. Like nice big, and like quality and size, and I guess the problem is a lot of them would be like fresh, cold, like yeah. I don't know. Nice big fresh cold juice.
Now, what happens if you're describing a juice and the juice is a color and also a flavor?
Yeah.
I want the blue orange juice.
I want the blue orange juice, or I want the orange blue juice. I want the orange blue milk.
Hell.
Yeah, it's true. Blue milk it could be a like
now,
what happens?
Is that just skim milk, or is it the milk from Star Wars?
That's what I'm wondering. Is it like so? Like if you put like red food coloring in the blue milk from Star Wars, would you call it red blue milk or blue red milk?
It would be just called purple milk.
You got me.
Some fresh blue cheese. That shouldn't have been skipped. They don't have 10 runs yet. Well.
You just want to get this.
I'm the worst commissioner.
You're also the best commissioner. They only have the one at a time.
They only have one.
So got that going.
Oh, here we go. Opinion. That's a really, really broad. What if it's fact?
Like,
this is an opinion. It's fact. Your team has got enough home runs. Everything gets skipped now. So opinion, size, physical quality, as opposed to mental quality.
Yep.
Shape, age, color, origin, material type, and then purpose.
So, like, if you had a shitty, big, flabby, round, old, blue, Japanese steel, multi-purpose tool, I don't know. Started to run out of steam when I tried to figure out what kinds of types are there.
Now, if
you're talking about
if opinion counts as lovely or ugly, do you know what I'm going to start doing? Is bringing sexy back, because it'll always be the first thing you say about it. It would have been great if someone hit a home run. I'm bringing sexy back. Yeah.
Yeah. Now's your chance.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, damn, I thought it was gonna be. Got a run in though.
It did.
So you're suggesting my niece should start saying, "Could I have a sexy, nice, big, fresh, cold juice?"
Do you know what? I actually want to start a gum company now and just call it Red Big.
Be great as like
it's gonna be called Chew, comma Red Big.
What about League Big Chew?
Oh.
But yeah. But what about like people would think, oh, this is just some cheap Chinese knockoff. It's like, no, I've just tried to upend our language.
We had to start thinking outside the box.
There you go. You could sell the gum in bags. Red Big, think outside the box.
Was that Taco? I think that was Taco Bell's actual motto for a while.
Yeah, because burgers were being sold in boxes instead of the wrapping paper they are now.
That's how you remember it. I think it's pronounced for Hobogads.
Oh, come on.
42 points.
I should have thought to say that I was bringing sexy back. I was just mesmerized by the pitch and the strike, or the hit, the striking of the ball,
the crack of the bat.
Yes, the clang of the bat, because they use metal bats in this one.
They're aluminum. They're aluminum bats, and they're also corked.
It's aluminum with a cork core. This is like magic wands, except for robots. Aluminum with a cork core.
I'm gonna hit all the home runs with this one.
Yeah. When have you ever been to Universal Studios, Zerf?
I've not been to any of those types of places in my life. Well, that's not true. I've been to Santa's Village in Muskoka.
You've never been to like Marineland or Paramount Canada's Wonderland or any of those?
No. But I've been to Santa's Village in Muskoka.
Oh, okay.
Which is a village that Santa lives in when he's not in the North Pole.
Oh, okay.
And it has Rudolph's roller coaster. So there you go.
Oh, I was about to say, like, so you've never ridden a roller coaster? Like, no, you've ridden Rudolph's roller coaster.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like the budget version of one of those places.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm familiar with what the budget version of those places looks like too. I remember when my family lived in Omaha. Well, okay, I guess that's it. They did not manage to claw back the 33 runs they would have needed to tie in the ninth, at the bottom of the ninth.
No, but do you know what? They put up a good effort.
It was valiant.
Let's get that score in the books, and by that I mean in the score scroll.
But no, I remember going to Peony Park in Omaha, or outside of Omaha, and I remember going there for my birthday one time, and we had to leave. Excuse me, because there was a tornado watch on, and
That
I
would have
remember
just made it
driving
more
home.
fun.
But I remember driving home, and this is like the one time I was like, "Oh wow, what this is like." But I looked out the driver's side window of the car, and it looked like it was nighttime.
We
And I
don't
looked
see
out the
a
right side of the
shaman, see
car,
ya.
and it looked like it was daytime. That's what a wall cloud is like, I guess. Or just like it was just like pitch dark horizon on the left side, and on the right side, everything looked totally fine.
So I'm going to play one more game here because that puts all of the
One more match.
the ones down here into the 6 game zone.
You are
And
now
then
entering
perhaps
the
next time we
6 game zone.
stream, it will be the JG Mysteries time to shine because I get to play some of their catch-up games.
By the way, guys,
mustard games.
yes. By the way, guys, offer feedback as to whether or not you find it incredibly annoying and distracting to have somebody continuously pull Zerf off of focus of the game.
Speaking of
I'm
being
asking
distracted,
YouTube as much as the stream chat right now.
yeah. Unstoppables, we have Leandri as the owner, Grimmeth, Latotsky, Hazel, Lethal, and Pudro, one of the more populous teams of human-based robots.
Well, I mean, there's
We
also a
base their
cat-based
personalities
robot.
on humans.
There's also a cat-based robot in there.
Robots, they might also be cat-based robots. When they blow up, we cheer. And here we have J2 John Jeremy and Shaman. Play ball. Double commentary is always enjoyable. Double your pleasure, double your fun. Double commentary, baseball. It almost rhymes. It's an eighth of a rhyme.
I do notice on the play ball screen, all the robots are sort of silver and kind of green. I'm guessing the green might be lighting. I'm guessing the silver is like literally like they're ready to play ball, but they haven't run out onto the field yet.
Yeah.
And it's like when they run out of the tunnel at the beginning of a game. There must be like a paint spray mister just like right at the exit of the tunnel that just
It's just
gives
the
them a
home
quick
team. Well, it's
go.
the same stadium every time too, right? So like they have the home team and the away team.
Yeah,
And it's just
they
like
have different
depending on
exits.
which one you run out of.
Yeah, there's the red nozzles and the blue nozzles. But they're all inside there in the, robot locker room. Like, yeah, let's get out there. Let's
Those
win
are
this
some of the-
thing. And then they go out, it's like, I wonder what color I'm going to be today. Red, red.
Because they get booted up after they're put into the change room. So like, I don't know where I am. These all look the same.
Well, it's the same stadium, so they don't know whether they're considered home or away this time around.
The robots actually have a real problem with mirror vision. So despite the fact that they're oppositely laid out, they still don't know which one they're in.
You would think that would affect their hitting, but no.
I don't know if I'm right-handed or left-handed.
Yeah, am I left-handed hitter or right-handed hitter today? I don't understand. Why would you design a robot with hand dominance anyway?
Exactly.
Like all the robots should be like switch hitters and switch pitchers. There apparently have been this is like what home run.
Now, I like Ald's theory here. They're like Hot Wheels. They have heat activated outer plating. So like one of them runs through a mister, the other one doesn't, and it has cold water in it.
There you go.
And maybe you have, they don't use it, but there's that additional triple color that you get when you actually use hot water instead of cold water.
Maybe they're all wearing those old body glove shirts, and somebody just goes up and slaps them right before they get out there.
What a terrible idea for a shirt.
I mean, it's one of those things where like they came up with this technology, they're like, oh, that's so cool, we've got to somehow implement it. Why not a t-shirt that encourages people to grab you?
But also really shows off your pits if you've been doing anything, including sitting around.
I guess I never owned one of those shirts, and I don't know whether or not they were popular during a period in which I would have been a sweaty guy, which basically is from like puberty onwards, let's be honest.
They're not sweat activated, though. They're heat activated. So even if you're just a little kid, your armpits are hotter than the rest of your body.
That's true. Honestly, if everybody wore head-to-toe like body glove bodysuits, everybody could pretend to have predator vision.
They're those green guys at the hockey games. just body
Yeah,
vision.
it's just if they made body glove like material that same way, then yeah, everybody could be the predator. You could democratize predator vision. Oh boy! So actually, we've got ourselves an even ball game right now. I mean, 2 whole innings in, but
Hey, that's more
good
often than
hustle
some,
there.
or further into the game than some.
Oh, that's true. The last game we had 10 runs in at the top of the first.
I'll tell you though, the amount of, I guess, giggling we've been doing.
Yes,
It's been very cathartic today.
that's good.
It was a long day at work and feels good, man. I don't know if you're allowed to. I guess you can still say that, but just don't use the meme.
Well, you were telling me that other parts of the world are less sensitive about that than we easily triggered Americans. That where Pepe the Frog has been essentially hijacked.
Well, because we don't all pay attention to your 24-hour news cycle.
Sure, some of you are only.
A lot of us do, but some of us don't.
Some of you are only in Neuromancer styles, where it's the once every 24 hours news cycle.
And also once every 24 hours, the BBS's update. But I mean, the messages could come in at any time, but for some reason they all come in at midnight.
You know, honestly, I feel like there's a part of me that might have found that refreshing. Like, I remember being on bulletin boards. Like, some of them were like, it was like early America Online bulletin boards, like before they got welcome, you got mail, or any of that stuff. Maybe it was CompuServe, but it was like, those times. And like, I would check multiple times a day because I was kind of curious, but like, there's still only like maybe a dozen people that would, like, out of a potential pool of like, this group of, the people that were on this bulletin board, there were maybe only like a dozen people on this individual bulletin board.
Now, Brooks was here.
Yep.
But he got greedy and tried to go to third.
That's, well, you don't take any, you don't win games without taking chances, so that just was a poor one to take. But like, like you get into the idea of like, oh, I want to check and see if anybody's responded to my message.
And then
there's not that many people in there like, ugh, get it. But if you could just put a message out there in the world and then just be like, I'll check on this tomorrow, bye.
Yeah, I know that at midnight this will be updated.
Yeah.
Am I willing to stay up for that, or should I get a full night's sleep? Well,
of course, if you do
we
that,
are watching baseball around that time.
You put your post up, it's not going to show up until midnight, so if anybody had something to say about it, you'd be waiting another day to find that out.
So it looks like the diamond cutters have decided to start popping off, as the kids say.
Well, but it's not. They're not unstoppable at this point. The Unstoppables, in theory, are, if I'm to believe them. So
if you can believe the hype.
Yeah. Tank bots, good, solid, albeit slow fielders.
Yeah, if they're near the ball, they'll probably be under it every once in a while if it's going in an upwardly direction based on the home plate. They'll just stop about 2 pixels too far up.
Yeah,
based on my knowledge of the Nintendo programming, from what I've learned from the little bit that I've done, I think that the ball in this game is, once it gets to a certain Z index, like up and down, they probably have a number that dictates how big the sprite's getting as it comes up and goes back down. It just checks to see if it collides with one of the robot sprites. And they have shadows, so that's why you every once in a while see like a flybot catch a ball that clearly didn't hit it, because the shadow's part of his sprite. So it like hits the flybot shadow, and he's like, "I caught the ball, guys!"
It's like, oh, and it comes up. That's just the thing. Like, they'll catch it on the bounce, and like the bounce like barely registers.
Yeah.
But
see, there you go. He caught that one with the shadow.
He caught it with his shadow. That's fancy. It's the what's the exact, like, it's the exact opposite, because like I was like training and I had a shadow day where I was supposed to be watching somebody do this job.
But instead,
And,
you showed up as their shadow and fought them before they got to go fight Ganon.
Yes. And unfortunately for me, they just sat in the corner and sort of crouched and stabbed, and I just couldn't figure out how to do
What do? I know all their moves, but not this one.
But yeah, it was quite the situation. But no, like the person that was doing the training before the shadow day was like, "Now, have you ever seen a shadow pick something up for you? You ever seen a shadow carry something for you? You ever seen a shadow, try and help out? Like, no. So don't be trying to do anything. Like, if they try and get you to do that, tell them you're not doing it. Like, okay."
I'm just a shadow here. All I can interact is the shadow of this parcel, and then you pick up the shadow, and they're like, "What?"
The shadow box. So it's where you do what is shadow box, like photography work? I know shadow box is an actual thing, and then I'm trying to remember what it is.
I think it's like those ones where they cut out the pictures and space them out. Oh, he's letting them go home. He's losing this on purpose.
He's
he just
throwing the
doesn't
game. Unfortunately,
he never picked up the ball.
I seriously thought that we were going to have to wait for him to touch the ball before the play would end.
They sent out a ball boy. He was just like, "I'll take care of this." Jeez.
You freaking idiot.
Threw back to the pitcher, and then the guy just drove all the way to the pitcher to try to get the ball. Ended up at third base. Oh, man.
Wait, that did happen for the Unstoppables, though, right?
It was for the Diamond Cutters.
Damn it. I was hoping that at least that level of 33 meters. So that's interesting. So baseball really has gone interstellar because they're not measuring everything with feet anymore.
Yeah, no, this is not in America, so they use something other than feet.
They're national robots.
Although, which to be fair, we often use feet and inches in Canada for lots of things.
And when you do, you desperately hope that they won't fail you then.
Don't fail me now. Hopefully who I'm talking to understands this. It's weird, though, because I feel like in the States, everyone didn't want to go through the conversion.
Yeah.
But, everywhere else, they were just like, yeah, we'll just do it. It's not like they didn't have to do the same thing. They were using a different measurement before then.
Yeah, it's just that part of it was that everybody's using different measurements. Oh, well. But yeah, it's kind of funny. There's these whole sets of, there's, I don't know how political I want to get right now, but there are people that are just complaining because they don't feel like being stuck at home or whatever. And it's like, freaking suck it up. You're Americans. Or you're just but I don't want to do it.
It's a patriotic thing. While you're there, you got to do what you got to do for the country. But also while you're there, learn metric.
Yeah.
I feel like actually, if they had,
oh my gosh, that's exactly what we should be doing with our quarantine time. We should just be making everyone in America learn the metric system.
Old wants everyone to learn base 60.
Oh, well, cool. Good for you, Alt.
Did you just cool story, bro? Him. My brother is a fan of saying "cool story, bro" to me. Because I'm his brother, and he thinks it's funny that he says it. But at the same time, I'm still just like, were you even listening?
These cycle bots just keep, honestly, there's so many extra runs you could be getting out of these cycle bots on their fielding.
Somebody hits it to a non-cycle bot, and it off. What are you doing? Why isn't he running for home?
A third.
He's gonna get out. One of them is gonna get out because you can't have two guys on a base. Speaking of not being able to do thirds.
Oh boy. Didn't turn out.
Apparently that robot was operating in base 10 and couldn't do thirds. He got there and just got stuck.
Nice double.
That's really bad. Well, not really bad. It's sad. I'm gonna yell sad at the robots because
it's a bad sad. It's a bad dad had a sad fad.
That was a great chance for the Unstoppables to make a good comeback, and then he just stood on third base. And I don't know. He would have been home in time for dinner.
Could have done it.
That's a saying.
True.
Oh well, it's still just the bottom of the fourth. They're getting runs, and I think we've had a couple innings where they've netted positive games.
Yeah. Like at this point, I would say a swing, a comeback from like 10 runs or more. I would consider this a big comeback game if they manage to pull. And they're showing enough life where like that could happen. So that's very exciting.
And he just got a strike out.
Yeah. Now I will say that the Unstoppables pitcher is just all over the place here. He's definitely playing with the count here.
He's trying to make him think he has to throw it over the plate. Now it's a strike, and then he throws a ball.
Yeah. He's playing all kinds of CPU games with these guys. That's,
I've got a copy of their AI code. I know what to do here to make them swing at it.
Yeah, it's fun because it's a game, but also it's fun because these are robots. Like they're not tired. Like he's not tiring out by having to throw all these extra pitches. So he's just using that opportunity. Trying to think about this now. So when a player, good night, sweetheart, I love you. When a player gets KO'd, loses their final battle in one of these games. Are they missing that position on field for fielding, or
Yes.
So when a pitcher gets taken out, what happens?
Somebody else pitches.
Okay.
And they probably don't have the pitching upgrades.
Yeah, they just have 0 stats. Is it now? And of course, as the commissioner, you should know these rules. I understand that you're not the best commissioner, or that you're the worst commissioner. So maybe you don't. But
well, I'm also the best.
Is there a standard position that goes to sub in, or do they just like maybe do a quick review and see, oh well, this guy has a hyper on, so we'll put him on there even though he's like second base.
It doesn't happen that often, so we're gonna have to go to the rule book when it does happen next time.
Yeah.
It says here that a dog. There's no rule here that says a dog can't be pitcher.
Yeah, I mean a robot dog, sure. Rush gets out there. Turns into a jet and flies in between the bases.
I'm not sure which place does take it, but it tends to be. I think it's just programmed that specific roles take over the other ones. It's probably like the shortstop or something like that, and then the second baseman just stands closer to second base.
Crowds it. Yeah.
Well, there goes the gains that were made in the last inning.
Well, so there's don't worry, player one. There's still plenty of game left.
All right.
I mean, yeah, I think it's all right. Ooh,
oh, we're gonna see a fight here.
Grounder. Tank on
Grimmett
tank.
Throws out a 1-2 combo instead of the 1-2-3, just to throw him off guard and then throw out the extra. Getting a total of 5 punches without getting a
little extra juke in.
Yeah.
Ball.
I heard you like pitches. How about these balls?
Hey, maybe I can get one of them robot balls, huh?
Grimmett's doing some real work this inning.
Yeah, although it's gonna take a toll on his hit points eventually. I mean, right now he's still he's still head and shoulders up because tank bot, he's gonna have extra HPs, right?
Yep. And he's got such a smooth scalp.
Yeah.
But I think when you're on offense, or sorry, when you're on defense, you're less likely to start losing hit points from the battles because you're only ever going to see 3 of them in an inning. It's really when you start running a lot of bases.
Yeah. Which
or
the
if you're not It's really if you're on defense and not winning the fights that you're going to start losing hit points, because you will see more than 3 then.
Well, and the AIs, I feel like, typically are not as bold about getting into on-base combat as they could be.
That's true.
Like, the game plays this game. The game plays itself as though it is not exploitable. Which is weird because you get these hugely unbalanced results out of that type of gameplay.
Yeah.
Like, the exploit in this case is, I've just got better hitting upgrades than you do, sorry. Hello, a thing.
A thing, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. You might have been here for a while and just didn't notice.
It's could have been here for a while. I mean, that is also true.
That wasn't forced at all. Oh, he's trying to egg him into going to the base. Will he go for it?
You could have made it all the way home.
He didn't want to risk it. They're down by runs right now. And Hazel's up. But it's right on the line. I was expecting that to either go foul or get caught out. Oh, lethal.
Oh, don't worry, that did.
The pitcher didn't even move. Oh, this guy has exactly 1 pound in grams of hit points.
Oh, you'll enjoy this. So I was making a delivery run the other day. Or I was delivering mail the other day, and you get going through a neighborhood, and I was like, oh, I'm in the 400 block. So like 200, and then 202, and then I'm like, or 400, and then 402, and I was like, oh my god, it's 404! I found the address.
And I thought this was going to a 420 joke.
No. I was just like, oh my god, it's 404. I'm gonna guess every time I go deliver mail on the even-numbered side of a 400 block. I'm gonna think that. It's like, oh my god, 404, I found the address.
I actually had, we're running a skeletal crew at work.
You're running a what?
A skeletal crew.
Oh, skeletal crew.
So
they're not actual skeletons. They're just very thin people.
No, because I help out. But I've been running some of the machinery as required because I used to run a bunch of production stuff.
It's all production that you used to
know. So I ran one of our mail jobs through the stuffer, and we had one missing letter, and I was like, oh man, come on. And I got to go through and find it so we don't send somebody a double or something. Yeah. And the one that was missing was 404, and I didn't notice till after I found it and scanned it, and I was like, oh hey, 404 was missing, and I found it. This is amazing, but it was actually missing.
Yes.
And all the people that work in production are older guys that didn't use the internet very much, so nobody appreciated it. Now, Prudro has a good engine in him there, so he's getting his hit points back at a speed that allowed him to tank all of Cooper's damage.
Yeah.
I feel like for the AI combat, having a really good engine is actually probably better than... And then a triple play happens. I feel like having a good engine is better than having a good weapon if you're in AI robot.
Yeah, I think all tag outs are done through battle. There's no just you tag the guy with the ball. You got to tag him really hard so that he falls down.
and multiple times.
Yes. Enough times that he goes, ooh!
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised that they made the retreating players just caught out and not they get to fight for it. Because it's the exact same sort of forced out that when the runner has to go towards a base. It's just in reverse. Especially considering how much they made the AI just run for everything. Hey, look, this is clearly getting caught out. I better go stand on the next base just in case. Oh no, triple play. Oh well.
Yeah, I see that the guy on third isn't running. I'm still going to rush up there.
And then I guess every once in a while it bounces off the wall like that and you get to go to second.
You know, I'm sure that the rule book for baseball has been put together in such a way that they have made some rule about how many people are allowed on a base. But I'd love to think at some point that there wasn't, and we could see a game where just
Four
like two
people
guys
just-
are standing there.
It was probably worse than that. It was like three or four guys just huddled up on third. They keep sending it home too fast. We're gonna get out. Okay, just make sure you run in the right order because there is a rule about running out of order.
Oh, I see. I was thinking if they just like all just like rush to the base, they're hoping that like a couple of them would get through.
They can't take us all out.
Everybody slide!
Actually, technically, if I'm touching someone that's already on the base, it counts as me touching it too.
Anything you have out of the park baseball? How is it? Because it's something that I was actually kind of curious about, because it seems like it's out of the park baseball is one of those like just number cruncher baseball games, right? It's just like you could put in your team, put in your numbers and your stats.
It's like
And
baseball
then,
manager sort of thing.
It just turns out, yeah, like there's no actual like you watch a guy hitting the ball with a bat. Yeah, it's just like, oh, like there might be a diagram of a diamond and that shows you like, oh, here's where guys got on base or something. But like it's just you stage the thing.
Do you know, I've played a less gamey version of that. It's called Google Sheets.
Yeah. Oh, I see. But yeah, but like sometimes those things can be super fun because like one of the series that I just sort of stopped and like there was no ending point for it. So like I eventually was just gonna have to stop it, but I didn't make a formal announcement. That happened to me with SimCity 2000 and with Extreme Warfare Revenge, which is the like professional wrestling spreadsheet stat game. Yeah, like those games can be fun if you're sort of into it and you sort of have your own like, you know, sort of like in your head idea about like who these people and the stats and everything are, and you know, have that kind of a vested interest in it.
If you've got a dog in the fight.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Doing the minor league for your hometown is cool. Yeah, see, that's the kind of thing. You just like want to start up a team for where you are, and like, I'm gonna put together a stadium and decide how much to charge for chili dogs, or how much to charge for regular dogs, and then how much to add chili, or you know, whatever. I don't know whether
that's actually it's actually kind of
that?
funny because it would be interesting to do minor league for my hometown, and you would have to prepare for failure because there's been 3 minor league teams in my hometown since I've been alive. Because they keep failing financially, and then people keep thinking it's a good idea to bring them back.
That seems to be a thing with minor league hockey in this area. Like,
surely there's enough fans here. Look at how many are going to the professional games.
Yeah. But
turns out they're all busy going to the professional games. All of the fans can afford season tickets to that.
Well, but like, there's been a couple like. I will say the minor league baseball team does very well here because I mean the nearest big cities are Norfolk and Richmond, which are, you know, Richmond has had its issues with keeping a minor league baseball team. I guess Norfolk's a bigger city, which is weird for me to think because it doesn't have the same type of a downtown, but it's just a larger overall area. But like they have a team that is like basically, I can never remember how minor league baseball goes. Like, is triple A the highest one or is single A the highest? Like,
It's the opposite of batteries, I think.
Okay, so like in that case, it's whatever the opposite of D is. The hearing aid battery team.
Well, I just meant like in A sizes, right? Because you have like double A and triple A. Double A is bigger in batteries but smaller in baseball.
Okay, so like
and single A batteries you rarely see because you might as well just go to a B cell battery then, and if you're going to go to B cell, you might as well go to C cell.
I think a thing is right, and then you might as well go to soft cell. That's some tainted love. But I think a thing may be right, and the AAA is the highest. But I think like Norfolk has the AAA affiliate of the Orioles. I kind of admire what the Orioles have done with their minor league system. That most of them are like not that far from Baltimore. Like you could drive to, like if you went to a minor league game, you got really excited and hyped for them, and then you wanted to go see those players when they make the majors. Like, you could drive there.
They could be tagging up and going home.
They could be.
Grimmeth, you disappoint me.
Hey, girl, you gonna hit a home run? Hazel is my cat, by the way, everybody. That is wondering why I seem to be just like flirting with this robot. Hey, girl, you gonna hit a home run?
Hey, girl, hey.
Aw, that's okay, sweet girl. I still love you. Okay, I don't think this one is having the big swing back that I might have
No,
been
the swing happened the wrong
the
way.
fourth or fifth period. Fourth or fifth period. Jeez, innings.
So the fourth period. First off, games that have periods only have 3 of them.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. Like, this is one, and I love her, but and I think she knows these things. Just sometimes it's the same kind of thing where I'm saying she's just like, she'll come in and I'll be watching a hockey game. She'll be like, "What quarter is it?" It's like it's the third and last quarter.
You should do the math. It's like if it's the second period, you're like, well, it's somewhere between the second and third quarter right now, based on how far into the period we are. I mean, with baseball being 9 innings, you can convert it into periods pretty easily.
So Cooper here, his great great grandfather was made out of copper. That's how he got the name. But when the robots made it to Ellis Island, they made him change it.
Well, because they were embarrassed by that, and they also wanted to pretend they were barrel makers.
That's right. Because at that point in time, it was far more prestigious for robots to make barrels than it was for them to be made of copper.
What are you, steampunk? That's so 2007.
It's like, you're antiquated. You're antiquated. This is thoroughly modernized, like making barrels.
Hey, they're still making wine, probably.
Oh, those are casks, my boy.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
All right.
Which is not a thing that I would think about all the time, except for Stardew Valley. I now know that, like, oh, when you upgrade to a certain point in time, you get a room that has casks in it. Like, okay, great. So you can age the wine that you were already aging, and then age it even more.
Let's turn it into port.
Oh, any of that in the storm would be good. Now, this is a thing that you can always have in video game baseball, where, like, I would get so nervous about watching an actual game. So those two guys just faced through each other.
they're gonna crash.
One was running for the base, the other was running for the ball. I'm like, oh boy.
Now, what's better, crashes in baseball or crashes in hockey? Now, Pedro's engine saved him there again.
Jeez, that was a tight one too.
That is true.
That was close combat.
Oh, see, they should be.
Well, no, because it was already out.
I know, but you can take advantage of the air when there's an out.
Oh, okay.
If you tag up, you're allowed to keep running.
Yeah, no, that's true. And he was already there, so could have done it.
All right, I'm gonna add this to the list, but I think this was the last game for today.
Okay.
Based on.
You have to just put it on the crawl just for funsies.
Yeah, I mean, I can't not do it.
Can't stop, won't stop. Adding games to the crawl.
Somehow this one game ended up with extra spaces between them, but you know what? That's just how the world works sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't not capitalize.
I think you only really start to see the numbers blend together into one. Oh, you're talking about on the crawl. I was thinking you were talking about the scorecard here. But I think you only really start to see the numbers bleed together if you have multiple innings where double digits.
Yeah, where they get double digits.
Yeah.
They double up.
You can play as the Trois-Rivières Eagles. Great Khan! Trois-Rivières I don't think is especially close to London. Trois-Rivières is in Quebec, right?
Yes, it is. It's pretty far away.
Yeah.
And there's also Trois Pistoles, which there's some good brewery company in there.
Trois Pistoles?
Yeah.
Is that like, is their logo just like a circle of like three like beefy arms flexing.
No, it's 3 coins.
Oh, okay. Well, eh.
And they tried to make a circle, but for some reason it keeps coming out as a triangle.
I guess that's true. Unless you really rounded out those corners, you would end up with that.
All right. So we've reached the end of our stream tonight. I want to thank Bobo for coming out and co-commentating. It really made my night to
I
have that.
appreciate that. It was nice to be able to come out, and yeah, I'm thankful. Honestly, you had a nice lively chat going here. Sometimes you set these things up and just it can be hard going, but everybody's out here, and
Yep.
appreciate y'all. Immortal Night,
Um,
all thing.